welcome to episode 34 of the Backstage Knits podcast. My name is Catherine, and you can find me on Ravelry as Backstage Cat Knits. I'm also on Instagram as Backstage Cath. This is a podcast about knitting and random various blurbs about my life here in beautiful downtown Hartford, Connecticut. If you're watching this, welcome back. It's been about 10 months since my last podcast. Cannot believe it's been that long. Don't really have a real reason why I stopped doing this, but I'm glad I'm doing it again. Who knows how long this will last again? I actually recorded a podcast in early January and never uploaded it. I do that sometimes. I don't really know why. So we'll see if this one ever hits the airwaves, but if you're watching this, glad to have you. Let's dive right in. I have actually gotten a ton of knitting done so far this year. For me, I consider myself a pretty slow knitter. So I've got 12 projects finished so far in 2018, which is really cool, especially because 3 of them are sweaters. So I will not show you all 12, I promise, because that would be really boring. And I don't want to talk, because I'd be here for hours. But I have a ton of stuff I've done this year, and I want to share some of it, and I won't share all of it, because again, boring, some acquisitions on festivals and stuff I went to. So we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping to keep it relatively short because also I don't want to be here forever. I got stuff to do with my life. But yeah, here we go. Let's see how it happens. So, you'll probably notice that the item I am wearing was knitted, and it was knitted by me. So this is A True Friend by Vera Valimaki, and I love it so much. I knitted out of Knit Picks Hawthorne yarn in Slate, which is the gray, and Serpent, which is the green. And this pattern is just really cool because primarily of the construction. Like, I don't think I'm giving too much away because you can kind of just see it based on how the piece is constructed. But you knit the front and the back flap, and then you kind of knit out on the sides. And I don't know, I just was drawn to it immediately. I had sort of bought the yarn, 3 skeins of the gray and 2 skeins of the green on a whim. Like, I will make a sweater out of this, I'll figure out what I want to make with it later. And I found really the perfect sweater for it. This is the extra large. I think the only modifications I made to the pattern were you're supposed to just go to, I think this was the main color, supposed to just go to the main color on the sleeves, but I was a little worried about yardage because Hawthorne is a shorter yardage fingering weight yarn, so I just striped it down the sleeves to make sure I had enough yardage. And then also, I forget exactly how many repeats this section called for, but I think I did a couple less because I was kind of feeling like it was wide enough on me, and it was. Like, if I had kept going, the arm seam would have been like after my elbow, and it would have been really weird. So I love how it turned out. It is so cool. I just love like the poncho-iness of it. It's so comfortable to wear, and so yeah, that's that. I'm talking really fast because it's been a while. I apologize. We're going to pause here and do a quick wardrobe change to show you my second sweater. And actually, this was the second sweater I knit in 2018. I finished another sweater in 2018, but I started this in 2017. Yeah, like over the summer, and finished it in like March. So, stopped to do other things, but yeah. Quick wardrobe change because I've already said it, and then we'll do my third sweater, and then we'll do my first sweater. Okay, so I've backed up to show you my second. I guess it's really more of a garment than a sweater, right? I mean, you can't really wear much under this. It's really more a t-shirt. This is the Tegna by Caitlin Hunter, and I've liked doing, it's hard because if I wear this, I can't show you the detail, but my project page pictures I don't even think it does have that. Well, anyway, there's detail and there's lace and it's pretty. I really like this kind of short sleeve sweater. I knit this out of Knit Picks Preciosa, which is a single ply, which I'm slightly regretting because of the pilling, but I knew it going in, so it's my own fault. But it's really comfortable to wear. I forget the name of this colorway, but it's really pretty. I got this yarn as a Christmas gift from my mom Thanks, Mom. And I used about 3 skeins of the yarn, which is great because I actually have 2 skeins left over, and she might be watching. But if she's not, or if she is, not a surprise, I think I might make her a Christmas gift of a shawl out of this yarn. So it's kind of like gifting back to her, but it's still my time and her the thing. Anyway, I really like it. It's this like teal. On my screen, the color is not looking more blue than it actually comes across. It's a little greenier, but it's really pretty. Made no modifications on this at all. And I could have, on both these sweaters, it's knit picks, so I totally could have alternated the skeins, and I didn't. So you do see a little bit of stripiness here, but hey, you know, it's the adventures in knitting, and I totally don't care because it's still something handmade. And I feel like only knitters are like, pooling, ha! Like, no one I work with is like, ha, pooling! So, yeah. Anyway, there's that. So I finished, I think I started this in March, and I finished it in late May, early June, like the first couple days of June, I think, because I wore it to the knitting retreat, which I'll talk about. So I had a goal that I set myself to finish a sweater a quarter, really to finish 4, I was like, I'm going to make a sweater a quarter. And then my brain was like, let's just have 4 finished sweaters at the end of the year. Because I had 2 in progress, right? So this one was in progress, and it was finished in 2018. And then I finally finished this. And I apologize for the sirens, but I'm going to talk over them because I'm really excited. So if you watched my podcast before, you have seen this sweater. This is Caspian by Jared Flood, and I finished it. I started it New Year's Eve weekend going in to 2017, and I finished it, I think, in early January of 2018. So just about a year's worth, if I did my math right, of knitting. Maybe even February I finished it. Actually, it could have. No, I don't know. Whenever it was. My project page says it if you really care, but totally don't care, because I don't. So anyway, I finished it, and I won't put it on because it's kind of warm in here, and also I'm lazy and don't want to do another costume change. But it is so good. I love it so much. It fits me so well, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And the hours I spent putting into this, like, I'm obsessed. And, yeah, I really love it. I knitted out of Valley Yarns Northampton and their green heather colorway, and man, the colors on this are just so gorgeous. It like glows golden in the sunlight. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so happy. And it's not even 100% fully cabled, so yes, could there have been more hours put into this sweater? For sure, but it looks really nice with like the cables ending here, so. Anyway, that is that. 2 more finished objects to show, then I will move on. Just because I've talked about this one before. This is the Waiting for Rain by Sylvia McFadden, and I hope it's recording because my computer has gone to sleep. Come on, computer. Nope. Okay, well, hopefully this keeps going. There we go, we're fine. Okay. So, yes, this is my Waiting for Rain shawl. This is the second time I knit this pattern, but the first time I did it in stripes, and oh man, it looks so good behind the wall. Forget how much I love this shawl. I knit this out of Malabrigo Makita in the Cereza colorway, and made no modifications except to the border. Where I added, I think it just asks you to cast off normally, but I added a picot border and actually put some little beads on the bottom because my first Waiting for Rain shawl, I definitely bound off way too tightly and it like curls up, and so I don't wear it as often as I should. And you see this one does it a little bit, but it is not as bad. The beads help pull the edge down a little bit, and it's just fun to kind of have that little like jangly thing. And so this was my Christmas shawl. I finished this right before Christmas, so I wore it Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and it's the best. I love it so much. So Like I said, those are the things you've seen before, or at least the sweater and the shawl, and I just like this top. And I finished 3 sweaters this year, so yay! One more finished object, then I will move on. This is my most recent finished object. These are the, I should have written it down, but I didn't, socks. Hold on. Pause for effect. So I'm confused because they used to be called the Portugal socks, but she renamed them. Azuelo, which means tile in Portuguese. So these are by Becky Sorensen, and I actually did these as a test knit for her. So I think the pattern should be released pretty soon. I know she was working on it early this week, trying to get it done. So hopefully within the next couple of days, or maybe even by the time I get around to actually uploading this, it will be out. And it's this gorgeous pattern where it looks, I think, better on my feet than it does in person, but you kind of do this tile stitch. And so it was inspired by her trip to Portugal. So you do that there, and then also you can kind of see it on the toe. Also, I love this cuff. It's like a fake Pico cuff, and I won't give it away. But yeah, you should get the pattern because this cuff is the coolest thing and just like so clever to do. I love it. So yeah, those are those. I knit this out of Leadingman Fiber Arts, their Showstopper base. Come on, camera, focus on my face. In the Glacial or Glacier colorway, which I got at Stitches United in Hartford this year. All right. Does anyone else use their gauge swatches as coasters? This is my gauge swatch from this sweater and is now my favorite coaster. Alrighty. So, works in progress. / also acquisitions that go with those. So, I'm knitting the Hitofude sweater, which a lot of people have done, and I am absolutely loving. So I started this, oh gosh, I don't even know when. I think probably early this month, if not towards the end of last month. I really don't. I think in the middle of last month. Not that it matters. But anyway, so this weekend actually, I finished up the sort of round section and moved on to the straight section. So it's actually kind of looking like something someone could wear. I am knitting this out of Queensland Collection United Foursome. And so it's a 4-color, it's not really gradient because it doesn't gradiate, it just stops, but 4-color Mongo skein. This is like a light fingering, so it's 1,531 yards in a 200-gram skein. And I would not have thought to do this because I'm bad at like calculations and figuring out how much yarn if I switch up the base or whatever. I'm not good at that. I'm very like, it says fingering, I will knit out of fingering and make a gauge swatch. But other than that, it's bad. But I was at this really cute yarn store in Michigan, up in the northern peninsula-ish area, and I was like looking around the shop, and I usually like to buy local dyers if I can find them when I go to a yarn store, because it's like, well, I can buy Malabrigo or Madtosh anywhere. And so if I'm going to a yarn store and want to buy yarn to remind me of that trip, I want to buy something sort of unique to that place, if possible. But this place didn't really have any of that, and they had a lot more either luxury fibers or commercial yarns, and I was like, I don't know, what do I want to buy? And I was kind of looking at these, mostly because the price was really good. This was $25. I was like, whoa, to get a gradient anyplace else is at least $35, $40, and especially 200 grams of this. And so the owner could see me looking. I was the only one in the store. And so she came over and she's like, oh, I made a Hitofude out of that. I was like, what? One skein? And she's like, yeah. And so she showed me, and she'd actually knit the extra large size. So I was totally inspired by her. So it was called Mother of Pearl in Charlevoix, Michigan. And anyway, yeah. So, it looks so good. I haven't even like really fully looked at it. This is one of my favorite things about podcasting is that you can like take a step back and see it on the screen and you're like, yeah. So no, it looks really cool. I kind of love where the stripe hit like midway through the sleeves. One thing I'm annoyed at myself about is that I did the first sleeve and I was reading the directions and then I was like, I totally know what I'm doing. Let me just graft on the second sleeve. And I was not paying attention and I grafted it the wrong way. So now I have this bump at the bottom of the sleeve. But it's the bottom of the sleeve, so I'm not really concerned about it. When I did the 3 needle bind off, I just did it the wrong way. So, part of the character, it seemed like it wasn't worth it to unbind off. Yeah, just kept going. So that's that. I'm hoping to work on that, but I've still got a ways to go, so it'll get done when it gets done, right? I've got 2 shawls that I want to share. So this one is a combination of my Ireland knitting and my some of my Vogue Knitting Live purchases. So I went to Vogue Knitting Live in January. I got a bunch of stuff that I haven't touched yet. Spent too much money, but what you gonna do, right? It's big, totally overwhelming actually, Vogue Knitting Live. So I gotta get better at like not buying everything I see. So this is Backyard Knitworks. This is their Prairie base, which is 100% superwash merino, 400 yards to 100 grams, the single ply. And I got the colorways Alpine and Storm Cloud. And so, oh gosh, Alpine and Storm Cloud, and they're not focusing, but you can kind of see the colors. And I am making the, I think it's called the Meandering Shawl. Yes, Meandering Shawl by Stephen West. So the color printer that I was using was really, really crummy, but let's see. That's what it's supposed to look like. It won't focus, but it's 100% brioche with this really interesting like centerline detail. And so I've knit most of this when I was in Ireland this summer. With a little bit since. I haven't really touched it much since, but yeah. So here's where I am so far. I think I'm close to halfway done, actually, although it looks pretty small at this point, at least in number of rows. And actually, I feel like it's pretty small in total from where I am, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I really like working on this. I just haven't. I don't have a ton of time to knit recently, which for reasons which I'll explain in a moment. But yeah, so it's just not been at the top of my list of things to knit. But it will be eventually. Oh, and then also look at this adorable bag I got at Vogue Knitting Live. A hedgehog knitting a sock. A scarf. Come on. Look at it. So cute. I don't know or remember who made this, but yeah, it's awesome. Right, and then, which I think I mentioned, I also went to Stitches United this year, and I actually bought this kit to make this shawl. So this is going to be kind of a mess because I'm sort of in the middle of stuff and I just kind of gave up on it, but okay, so this yarn is Stunning String Studio, Stunning Superwash, 100% Superwash Merino, 475 yards to 100 grams, and these colorways are Moroccan Blue and Natural. Probably didn't have to look. Oh gosh, look at this. Oh boy, yeah, this is why you don't let things sit in your wood pile for a month and a half, Catherine. There we go. So I actually got this as a kit to make the Rock the Casbah shawl. And so it came with the beads, with the stitch markers, and with the yarn. And so I'm actually really, really close to done. And I'm sorry because I'm in the middle of the row. I'm actually really, really close to done with this shawl. Oh, nope, that's the wrong side. Pause for effect. Okay, hold on. What is happening here? All right, here we go. It's a top-down shawl. So, oh, looks so good. So I'm actually really close to done. I think I've just got I've got this beading row and a couple of stripes to do. I started this in like March. What doesn't make sense? Oh, it was in February. That's okay. Started this in like March. Again, it's kind of been sitting. But the reason I've stopped is that I'm on a beaded row. And so you'll see I've got like, I think it's like 300 stitches on the needles at this point, of which you have to bead about every third one. And I got pretty far into it until I realized I was doing it wrong and there's more of a pattern than I thought there was. So I had to tink back these beads. And when I was actually, I worked on it like a lot one weekend, a couple of, probably a month or so ago now. And then I realized I hit the snag and was just like, nope, I just give up. So I just gotta sit myself down, do it. But man, this shawl is gonna be so good when it's done. Like, look how beautiful that mosaic section is. My God, it looks so gorgeous. Again, like, taking it back, like looking at it from more of a distance. Oh, it looks so good. So that's that. These things will get done when they get done. And if they don't get done, they'll just sit in my whip pile. I had a decently grand goal this year that I was going to try to get down some of my, like, either frog or finish some of my longest languishing whips. But I quickly realized that I couldn't meet the goal of finish 4 sweaters and finish all whips. So the sweaters goal has sort of superseded the finish all whips goal. Okay, yep, there we go. We're still good. I'm actually going to take a quick pause here because my camera stopped recording in half an hour and we're at 23 minutes. So I'll just stop and start and be back with you in a sec. All right, we are back. I'm gonna do some acquisitions. I've got a lot. So I'm actually gonna skip those 2 for time's sake because I'm getting tired of this because it's been a while. So I mentioned I went to Ireland and I kind of wanted to share some of the stuff I got there just because it's really fun. So this I got in Dublin at like a local yarn store, and this is Olan, who I actually have followed on Instagram for so long, and I was so excited when I saw that. I was like, oh, wait, I know that person. I mean, I've never talked to her, but I'm like, hey, I follow you. So this is her sock light base, which is fingering weight 425, 80/20 superwash merino nylon. And this is the Rebellion colorway. So just like black with this pop of color, which I totally was drawn to. Probably will be socks, but super gorgeous. And then I couldn't say no to this giant skein of teal. Are we surprised by this? No, we are not. Catherine loves teal. And yeah. So there is that. And it looks better in the like lighter bright where you can see kind of the heathering. It's pretty heathered. But yeah, I don't want to focus and unfocus my camera because it's slow today. And then this is fairly boring. It's just kind of the same thing in natural. But I am making my friend a hat from so we kept looking in these stores. You know, there's tons of stores in Ireland that sell knitted sweaters. And they're kind of expensive for my friend who I went with, and I was just like, well, what if you buy like a hat or mittens? So you still like get the cables, like get the souvenir, but it's not as much money. And so I looked at hats, but there wasn't really anything that she loved. And so she's like, well, will you make me a hat? It's like, well, if you buy the yarn. So I'm going to make her a hat out of this. I would love to finish for her birthday, but that's in like 3 weeks, and who knows, we may cast on. I mean, I can knit a hat in a weekend. It's just a matter of finding the weekend, right? So I've got the hat that I want to make for her. I forgot the name of it. I did not write it down. I didn't write anything down, which is a bad idea, but here we go. So anyway, that's boring, but that is a future project, so I figured I'd talk about it. And then the most exciting thing I have to talk about is that in early June, I went to the Stitches camp in Essex, Vermont, and I took a Learn to Dye class with Natalie Redding of the Redding Method Namaste Farms. So I have a lot of yarn that I actually dyed myself. So I'll try to go through them pretty quickly, but we basically learned how to do solid yarn, tonals, like, what did she call it? Variegated, but like relay, I forget what it's called now, and speckles. And then we did a little bit of gradient, but it's just a little tiny thing and I don't have it, and I'm not going to get it because it's just green gradient. So, anyway, I'll kind of go through in the order we went through. So, this is like the one color, and I'm so impressed because, like, I just figured all hand dyed was you were always going to have, like, some colors peeking through, not consistent, like, that's what I'd heard. But, like, that looks like a commercial dyed yarn, and again, it's not focusing. So, yeah, it's really a gorgeous teal, one skein of DK weight yarn. No idea what I'm going to do with it, or, yeah, I think it's DK. No idea what I'm going to do with it, but, hey, I dyed it, so whoop-de-doo. I also dyed a bulky skein that my mom claimed when I posted it on Instagram, and it became a cowl for her, so that's already gone. The next thing we dyed was this... I really wish I could remember what she called it, but basically this started out 100% teal, and then we kept overlaying different colors and like fluorescently did stuff with it, and now it's this variegated, one-of-a-kind, hand-painted coolness. And I really like this. Like, there's this, again, so this started off teal, like 100% of the yarn, and you can see like certain parts are just not, they're purple. So anyway, this came out really cool. This was definitely a labor-intensive method, of which I will not do it again. And then we learned tonal, which I'll show you in a second. But we did speckles, and this is a really cool, brightly colored speckle. I think this is like an Aran weight. So there's that awesome specklies. They kind of bled a little bit, but hey, it was a learning experience, right? So then it was actually a pretty good mix of, we had like Saturday afternoon free, and she actually let us like be in the studio. It was like the dining room of the hotel. Oh, come on, focusing. She'll actually let us be in the studio and kind of like do it on our own. So me and this one other woman, Arlene, spent the afternoon in there just doing stuff on our own and experimenting. So at the end of the day, I came up with these like 4 gorgeous skeins that I need to make into something together. So anyway, okay. So we've got the 3 tonals, and these are all DK skeins. We've got the pink and the green and the blue, and this, as you can see, they're kind of various levels of like how much tonal I actually felt like doing. So these 2 are pretty tonal. This one is a little less tonal because I was kind of over it. Dyeing is physically exhausting. Like, I did not realize. It was a lot of on your feet. I don't know what I thought it would be, but I was pretty exhausted by the end of it. And then the Saturday afternoon, I wanted to do some speckles, and I thought it would be cool to do black. But apparently one cannot speckle with black, or I over-speckled, or I didn't let it set long enough. Anyway, the black bled, and I got this super dark, grungy skein. But I actually really like it. Like, it looks muddy, but it also looks really cool. So, here's my question. Can one make a top out of 4 DK skeins of yarn? Like, probably, right? Because I think I used 6 worsted weight skeins for my full-on cabled sweater. And I used 3 fingering for this. So, like, I probably could get a short sleeve top out of these 4, right? Like, I'd love to do, like, color work with these 3. I don't know, guys. If you have, like, a real pattern that you have in mind, let me know. But these need to be a thing together. I was also thinking the Stephen West has that Exploration Station shawl, but again, because these are DK, like it has 4 colors of fingering weight, and I'm bad at conversions and things, so I don't think that would work. So I think that uses most of the 4 skeins of fingering weight. So I don't know. These need to be a thing, and if you have ideas about what they could be, because I can't recreate them, that's the thing too. And like this is DK, so I suppose I could add that in, but it's a different base and it's not tonal, and like I think it would mess with the look. So I might just need to like play with stuff, and it will be a thing one day. Future aspirational goals. I don't know. If you have ideas, let me know. If anyone still watches this, I am open to ideas. Yeah. Knitting. That is all the knitting I feel like talking about now. Quick life update. I may need to edit the title of this podcast because I am on stage, Kath. I'm going to be in a musical, guys. I'm going to be in the ensemble / my one line as male villager number 3 in Young Frankenstein in November in a neighboring town. And I'm super stoked about it. I'm having just an awesome time at rehearsal. Everyone in the cast is so nice. I mean, brand new people to me, but super great people, super fun show. A ton of stuff, especially in Act 1 for the ensemble to do. I'm loving it, man. It's a lot. We have rehearsal 3 nights a week, so it's a lot to go to rehearsal and then have 3 hours or go to work and then have 3 hours of rehearsal. But so talk to me again during Tech Week where it's every night. I may be a lot less excited about it, but it's been super fun so far. And like I said, everyone's been great, so I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. And yeah, how could I forget? One major other exciting life update. I'm going to Rhinebeck. Yay! I've been wanting to go since I first heard of it, but I started knitting in like November. So it was like right after it had happened the first time when I first heard about it. I was like, well, that's a year from now. And then the past, I think, 2 years that I've since heard about it and have been knitting, I've just not been able to go. But because I wasn't sure what the rehearsal schedule would be like, I kept most of my fall weekends free when things were starting to get planned over the summer. And then I realized that I don't have to be at rehearsal on the weekends, so now I have a ton of free time during the weekend this summer. Sorry, I thought my roommate might be coming home, but she's not. No. Sorry. I can hear someone with keys walking by, So yeah, anyway, I have free time in the summer, the weekends this fall, which is pretty unusual and I'm really excited about, because the weeks are so crazy. So yeah, going to Rhinebeck just for the day. We'll probably leave here pretty early Saturday morning, myself and at least 2 other people from the knitting club I go to in a neighboring town. So I am super stoked about that, and if you are a person who follows me, I would love to meet you. I'm going to post it on Instagram too, so hopefully I meet some of my Instagram friends in real life, because that is awesome. So anyway, I think that's it. I've been babbling for a while now, and that's more than enough for me. Getting back into this. Like I said, I have no idea. I will record a podcast again. I feel bad because I don't really watch podcasts. So it feels kind of selfish of me to expect people to watch my podcast when I don't watch their podcast. But even if I'm talking to nobody, I kind of like doing it. No, it's just a weird millennial thing, if a tree falls in the forest, I don't know. So anyway, thank you for watching, and you might see me again 2 weeks from now, you might see me again a month from now, you might see me again in a year, you might never see me again. Who knows? We'll figure it out as we go along. And for now, I'm just enjoying knitting and enjoying life, and yeah, it's all good in the neighborhood. So, have a great night. I'm about to go make dinner and go to choir practice tonight. Skipping rehearsal to go choir practice because I've overbooked myself, but it should be good. And one last thing, shout out to my sister for getting me a mic for Christmas. Hopefully the audio quality is slightly better. Thanks, Rose. I never used your Christmas gift for a whole 10 months. Anyway, have a great afternoon or evening or whatever time of day it is where you are. I hope you're having a wonderful day and that you enjoy what you're knitting. I'll talk to you later. Bye! Hello, everybody! No, don't wave, that's weird. Open computer so I can get my thing. Ba, ba, ba. You guys want to see a dance? Transylvania Mania!